Silence! Hear me now. If I Aaron Barrow could talk today, I got something to say. Why? Raise your flag, but open your eyes. If I Aaron Barrow had to speak today, what I see would break my heart away. Nothing changed, just a mirror frame, same corruption, just a brand new name. My people, I'm sad to say, you reaping all you sow today. The pride and industry fade away, and now we fighting to find we way. Life at two extremes, I tell you so. Hope and hunger, high and low. Poverty mixing with champagne flow, but poor man still can't grow. Suffering and celebrating, starving while them still partaking. Nations rise, time to break that spell. Stop showing contempt for yourself. Say you can't change when thieves lead the way. Corruption sweet when give us pay, and government take what poor man lay. Taxation high like mountain peak, while schools and roads still spring a leak. Them flying high, them living sleek, but poor man vice still 2 weeks. So tell me now, who you blaming? Who make the system shaming? Them raise the dead, destroy the cane. No migration needs the pain. You will lead us like the clay, and now me a playing God today. Talking sweet but turn away from the people who make she laugh, she bend and smile she wear like she care, but she can't share. You think she love, you think she fair, or she trying to run you from here? Errol watching from up above. Budgeons where the unity and love we used to build, we used to fight. Now we just beg and say alright. Let we rise again, take back pride, build Barbados from inside. And Errol gone back to sleep again. Errol, but I pray next time I wake, my people go rise, rise, I say. Them sharks still alive. Boy, you sell it. Boy, you sell it. Them sharks still alive. We just need to revive. Them sharks still alive. We just need to revive.
Good morning. I speak with honor and humility on behalf of the Democratic Labour Party. I acknowledge Canon John and Reverend Stewart. We come not to defile sacred space with political messages. Today we are grateful to the Canon, and we feel indebted to him for reminding us that voices in the wilderness relate not only to geographical and physical spaces, but that it is a moral space, and it is a moral space that involves telling the truth. And while the church leads us to higher salvation, our political voices always intend to lead us to a place of justice. And Canon John, we are so grateful to you today for reminding us of the universal value of truth in opposition and in government. Because if we tell the truth in opposition and we don't tell the truth in government, we fail not only ourselves, but we fail a nation, because we are about change and developmental change. And I want to assure this parish church that ours is a mission of change. And I will close by expressing gratitude. You may not have any idea what you have done for us as a party. This wonderful group of young people who are our candidates, you've done so much for us here this morning by accommodating us. This Democratic Labour Party extends to all of you a very happy Christmas, a very safe Christmas, and a God-filled Christmas. We thank you.
Good evening, DLP family, and those joining us in the wider diaspora. My name is Damien Fanus, and I'm your host for DLP TV tonight. Honest voices for the people. It is so good to be amongst you again as we bring you the topic, the youth is the now and the future. Listen to us. Tonight we've assembled a panel to discuss the issues that our youth are facing in the nation today. And the question is, are we really listening? When the youth talk to us, are we listening to them when they tell us that they have issues with education, job attainment, job security, housing. We need to listen to our youth, and we need to give them a platform of empowerment. And I want to shout out tonight our comrade, Neil Marshall. We would have had a conversation with him over the weekend, and it touched me to hear Neil Marshall in the way that he understands that sometimes we need to listen to our youth to get where they are coming from. And in his admission, which is not a slight on him, he admitted that sometimes he doesn't understand where the youth are coming from today because he is a generation removed from them. But that is not a weakness on his part. It is more of like saying that we need to empower our youth to lead our young people. We need to create platforms so that they can be leaders, because only the youth really can speak for the youth. People who might be a little older than them may not get them with the new trends and I guess the issues that they're facing, because it seems with every generation the issues change. So now we have to create a platform where that we listen to them and we can create a sense of an environment where that they can be successful. So tonight we have assembled a young panel of high achievers, good-natured individuals. So to my right, you all know this young gentleman. He needs no introduction. Ramon Goodman, candidate for St. Andrew and financial advisor. Welcome, Ramon.
Good night. I want to say good night to the beloved people of the St. Andrew constituency. I want to say good night to the DLP family. Good night.
To his right, now, this young gentleman's resume is pretty lengthy, so you're going to have to bear with me. So I want you all to welcome Dario Duglin, aka Just Dari. He is an influencer, content creator, content manager, author, DJ, systems engineer. He's in technology, and he would have authored a book named Arush the Hero. Dari, welcome to DLP TV for the first time tonight, isn't it?
Yes, it's the first time being here. Glad to be here.
And don't forget, Damien, he's a former parish ambassador for St. Andrew. That is very important.
Former parish,
Damien, very important.
Former parish ambassador for St. Andrew. Yes, that is very important.
Yes, please.
Sir, Dari, I want to start with you. I want you to at least tell me how you would have what were your influences growing up to find that you found yourself in the many different paths and the many different careers, because it's good to see that you've not just branched off into one area. You've pretty much you're a jack of all trades, basically. So what were your influences that you found yourself being a content creator, content manager, author, DJ? What led you to just pick up all of these hats and be successful at them?
I would say my brother played a big part in me being interested in music. From a very young age, he was the one that introduced me to certain types of music where I couldn't get it anywhere else, and his friends are also interested in DJing. So that was my introduction to music and my interest in DJing. In secondary school, I went to Harrison College. I started to pursue that, but it didn't get very far until I was at UE, where I was introduced to A.O.N skills, and through a mutual friend that we were able to work together, and then it took off from there.
All right. So you are a published author.
Yes.
Tell me, how does one become a published author? And the name of the book is Arush the Hero. Tell us the motivations behind the book and how does one become an author?
So I never planned to be an author. It was not one of the things that I would have thought about or even dreamed of. But I do have two amazing nephews, and the older one, he has a very short attention span, right? And so sometimes it's very hard for him to read longer books. So I thought, you know what, maybe I could write a book about me and him and the family, and that way it would keep his attention. And it was successful. I just did some research online. I started to put together drafts, and then I just had to find out, of course, how I would get the book published. And I found that there were many services online where you could, for free, publish your book yourself. They would show you the requirements, And if you meet them, they would look at the draft, they would reach back out to you and say, hey, this is ready, we can go ahead and publish. And usually the deals for those kinds of services are, you would get a certain amount off of the sales and they would get a certain amount off the sales.
Understood.
Yep.
So like a profit sharing kind of arrangement.
Pretty much, yes.
So tell us about being a parish ambassador. How did that come about?
So I was, in my younger days, I was a very shy individual. As a matter of fact, I went to Charles F. Broome Memorial Primary.
Okay, shout out Charles F. Broome.
Shout out Charles F. Broome. And I remember in Infants B or Infants A, I was supposed to do a presentation, a cultural presentation on a country. And I got up in front of the class and I froze.
Oh.
I completely froze. And that kind of kept with me throughout my life. And then I will never forget in 2010, the Parish Ambassador Committee for St. Andrew approached me to be the Parish Ambassador, and I said no. Flat out, I was like, yeah, that's not me. But then the year after, they approached me again, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to face my fears as doing public speaking and talking in front of the crowds and standing up in front of the crowd and being on stage, and an opportunity for me to grow. Not only that, it was also an opportunity for me to get closer to my community and play a part in growth in my community. So I decided I would do it.
Okay, so tell me about being a systems engineer. What was the path that led you to that particular field and profession?
So around 2014, 2015, at that time, I was, full on in the DJ world, in the entertainment world. And my brother was in the United States. He had settled after he did his studies and stuff. And he kept encouraging me to come and find something that I was interested in. And after, again, research, I realized that technology was the future. And so I found a school that I could afford first. And then I did my research, I applied, and I got through, and that was the beginning of that.
So I want to speak particularly to the types of challenges that you would have faced coming up to where you are now. Any particular challenges that you would like to highlight that sticks in your mind, and when you look back and you see young people coming up and you see yourself in them, what are those challenges that you feel relate to young people coming up today that you've experienced?
Well, I would say one of the most important things is, especially being in the entertainment industry, there's a lot of encouragement to do things that you weren't necessarily brought up in. And sometimes it's very hard to stay away from those things. So I think it's very important for our young people, our youth, to stay grounded. Remember first God.
Yeah.
And just remember the things that your parents and your grandparents used to teach you.
True.
And recall those things and respect those things. And I think it'll take you a long way.
Okay. So Ramon.
Yes, sir.
Bright young man who would have represented St. Andrew as a parish ambassador. These are the type of individuals that can be great examples for the youth in your constituency. When you see people like Dari, does it warm your heart to see that there are individuals who actually can be these shining beacons for our young people to follow?
I definitely do think so. When we look at Dari, now I've had some conversations with Dari, and Dari is so ambitious, and there are lots of talks up there about young people not being ambitious, young people not wanting to succeed in this life, and so forth. I want to rubbish that here and now on DLP TV. There's so many people so many young people like Dari in the St. Andrew constituency. All they need is a start. All they need is a start.
Is that a platform?
A platform.
Yeah.
And some, they need a little bit of mentorship and so forth. And that is what the Democratic Liberal Party will bring to the table. That is what Ramon Goodman will bring to the table. Ramon Goodman is the face of change in the St. Andrew constituency. And we go back to Dari. I mean, he is a productive octopus.
You guys are
there
friends.
is no doubt about it.
You guys
of
are
course.
friends.
He assists the DJ skills. And they go all times of the night, and obviously some fatigue kicks in, but the energy drink, and they go. These guys have sleepless nights, you know, just to perfect their craft, you know. So that notion of the young people not wanting to produce, not wanting to be ambitious, that is rubbish.
Right. So, Jen, well, sticking with you, Ramon, and this question is to both of you, but I will stick with you, Ramon, for the time being.
Of course.
Do you believe Barbados is truly listening to our young people right now?
I'll tell you this, right? As I continue to traverse the St. Andrew constituency, one word comes up. Well, two words. Not listening. Not listening. It's such a simple thing to do. And the only way you can find solutions is if you listen. And you go from one young person to the next, you know. I'm not taken seriously. I am not taken seriously. No one listens. They think I'm too young, I don't know anything, I'm ignorant, and no listening is done. And the only way you can find solution is to listen. And we need to listen to the young people. We need to listen to the young people. The Democratic Labour Party will continue, that's okay, will continue to listen to the young people, the ordinary young person in this country.
So, Dari, to be honest, right, I'm of the age now that I'm not technically a young person, right? I think I'm at unk status now, as the young people would say. Because I have a young lady in my life who calls me her father, but then at the end of the day, she said, "Unk, what's going on?" And that's not basically to, like, you know, she's confused as to what relationship she would like to have with me in her life. She's called me unk because she feels that I old, you know. So my thing is, right, is that when you were speaking to people like me now, right, what recommendations would you make in regards to listening to the young people? Because it seems like people just want to create policy without talking to people like you first, without talking to people like Ramon. What would you suggest to people like us who are probably a generation above you now? What would you say in regards to listening to you, the young people?
I would say clear your agenda first.
Right.
I feel like people listen with their own plan in mind already. So when they're listening to you, but are they really listening and thinking about the solution that you need or the solution that they want to put in place? I feel like that's the big barrier that we have. Our youth, our young people are going to be the ones that are leading the country soon, if not now. So it's about what they want.
True.
Not what you want for them. So you have to find a way to, you know, listen and actually put things in place that will help them also develop their ideas and what they want to be. Because a lot of us, I mean, for example, I had no idea what I wanted to be growing up. No idea.
True that.
It just passions came as I went. And so some people need guidance and mentorship, and some people need to also understand what is out there for them. And that doesn't just mean in Barbados. Barbados has a bigger reach than we realize. And so we need to think about those things when we're listening.
I realize now that while we do focus on certain issues that the youth face, like crime and violence, unemployment, underemployment, lack of housing, education, I probably would have mentioned that earlier. Something really now came to my recognition now in regards to another challenge that they're facing, that's mental health issues.
Oh man.
Yeah, because our youth are under so much pressure right now that we take their mental health for granted. So, Ramon, are you seeing a lot of mental health issues coming up and rising in our youth of today?
I am.
Yeah.
And one of the dangerous things that is happening is that we do not take mental health seriously. We do not. You know, we take it as a joke. We usually say as Barbadians, and I think it extends to the Caribbean. You know, you're mad, you're going to the arms house, etc., etc. But mental health is a serious issue. You know, you're not well. Say you're physically not well. What you do?
You go to a doctor.
You go to a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes the same way where mental health is concerned, and we need to take mental health seriously in this country. And if it may extend to the Caribbean, let it be so. But the first thing we need to do is acknowledge that mental health is real. It's a real issue. It is a real issue.
And
that's the first thing we need to do.
And I think that we need to take a step back and look at it from a perspective where that even in our schools now, there is a lack of resources in regards to guidance counselors, right?
Yes.
And what guidance counselors deal with is mental health.
Of course.
I think that people don't really make the linkage, because as a guidance counselor, you're listening to a young person when they come and tell you, my situation at home is not good, you know, or I'm being bullied right now and I feel as if like I would take my life. You get me? All of that is mental health. So
but then Damien, you know, again, it goes back to the fact that we do not take mental health seriously. We need to prioritize mental health. It is a serious issue.
Right, and not just put one guidance counselor to deal with 700 or 800 children in the school.
Yeah.
Right, you need probably I guess one for each fund level.
Of course,
you know, and I believe that if we really want to take our youth seriously, we need to give them the resources that they need to succeed.
We do.
Dari, do you see that mental health issue cropping up in youth when you I guess interact with your friends or younger people or what's not?
Well, I'll say this before I touch on that with the guidance counselor issue. I think that we also need to pay attention to the recommendations that the guidance counselors are making.
That's a good
because
point.
I feel like we have guidance counselors in place and we're making changes in the ministries, but we're not listening to the recommendations. I just say that from a personal experience. But me personally, if we're going to talk about young people, as a man, I feel like I have now been dealing with a lot of mental stress, emotional stress, and I think mental health is tied very closely to emotions. And I think that there are a lot of young men, especially out there, that do not have that assistance or that listening ear to help them navigate those emotions and those things that affect your mental on a daily basis. I think that we kind of brush those things aside and don't recognize the long-term effects that they can have on a person, especially a young person.
And if I may add to that,
right? For sure.
Where young men are concerned, if you have challenges and you want to sit down and have a conversation, sometimes it is construed as you being soft
and weak,
mentioned,
pride.
Man, and that is stereotypical. That is what is happening. That's why you see a lot of young men. Again, there is no excuse for crime and violence in Barbados. However, one of the challenges is, as I mentioned, young men, they are fearful to sit down and have a conversation in a group because of victimization, because of what he might be looked upon like, how the other people, the other males, sometimes a lot of the times males, how the other males will look on him, how they would think, what they would think about him, So that is what is happening. It's a type of stereotype as well too, right? And it's very unfortunate because, as he mentioned, and rightfully so, men, we have serious challenges. We are pressured a lot of the time to be the breadwinners.
True.
To be the breadwinner, and that is a lot of pressure.
True.
So men, they need the outlet sometimes to have a conversation.
True. And I'm finding now that there are statistics where that they're even saying that young men now are young men, obviously, we are not immune from domestic violence.
Of course.
And while society perpetrates that men are usually the abusers,
of course,
there are men who are also the victims. I've come across individuals who are my friends, who are my good acquaintances, who might come and tell me a story about a partner that they had, and this partner hits on them or pulls a knife on them, probably injures them and stuff like that, and they can't recognize that is domestic abuse. Right, and that is something that they need to get away from until they sit down and tell them, listen, that's domestic abuse, though. And it is not only a female gender crime, right? It is a male gender crime as well. Males experience domestic abuse, and if we don't open up spaces for our young men to come and talk, because You know, in some situations, it's underreported because men feel as if they would be ridiculed if they go to a police station and say, well, listen, I got a partner right now and she hitting on me and stuff, and there's nothing I could do basically because I live at her. If I leave, I don't have anywhere to go.
Of course.
You get me? She might actually be the main breadwinner. You might be unemployed. You know?
Of course.
And men find themselves in these situations.
Yeah. Because there is a gentleman, or there was a gentleman, who he was being abused. And, you know, he had some friends and so forth who he would confide in. And they would do what? They would laugh at him. You know? It would be a big standing joke, whether standing or sitting joke. You know? So we need to take these things seriously because they can escalate, you know. Because you go now and you spew your heart and you tell you actually confide in your friends and you say, you know, I'm being abused and so forth. You know, and I don't want to hit her back or whatever the case may be. I don't want to hit her back. And you know, the friends, they get there and they laugh and so in his mind, he's saying, well, they're laughing at me. And again, no excuse for crime and violence. But, you know, it can escalate after that. After having someone who you confided in laugh at you, you know, you're a soft man, this and that. You know the talk. You know the jargon.
Yeah, I know the jargon.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Dari, I want to tell you about a conversation that I would have had with one of our colleagues, where I would have brought it up in my opening monologue. Me and Ramon and Dale from the city. And I think Jamal was there as well, Jamal Sandyford, who is the candidate for St. Michael Northeast. Now, this gentleman, Neil Marshall, right? Attorney at law, I have the utmost respect for him, right? He would have admitted to me that he's an older gentleman and he does not understand the perspective that the youth are coming from. He himself being a father, he's at loggerheads sometimes with his daughter, and sometimes loggerheads with his younger son, right? Both in their 30s and their 20s respectively, right? And I took that conversation, that admission where he says that I don't understand my children sometimes. So if I don't understand my children, then obviously people who are my age are not going to understand younger people, right? Do we need, as I guess older individuals, do we need to take a step back and empower our young people, let them be the leaders of their peers, give them platforms that they can succeed in leadership? And once you give them that platform to thrive, can you see young people leading young people?
Of course, I think the bigger the generational gap, the harder the communication barrier is. And so if you have 30 and 40 years, 50 years between father and daughter, that becomes very difficult to understand what she or son is going through at the time, you know, what they're thinking and how they're thinking, because their interests and your interests are different. Their entertainment and your entertainment is different. And those are the things that influence us as people, as young people and older people. So making sure that there's not too big a gap between the leaders and those that we are leading, I think is a very important consideration going forward.
I think that we also see in situations with like organizations, corporations, there are individuals who might have been there 30, 40, you know, years. You know, there's this big gap and this long term of service that when they see young people who come in, it almost feels as if like they tend to competition. They tend to box them out, right? They tend to box them out because here comes this young person coming to take my job, who's more efficient at technology, who probably might have benefited from, I guess, a change in curricula,
right?
Which helps them now to be more efficient in the world of work today. Are we seeing that generational trend where that maybe our young people are not thriving in corporations and in corporate Barbados because older generations now might feel that there's this competition between them, the youth, and them themselves?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You say you're an older gentleman now.
Well, I mean,
Older gentleman.
I don't want to give away my age. I don't want to give away my age, but I'm in my 40s now, so
Right.
I'm not technically old, but
Do
I'm
you-
not that sprite either.
That said, do you think your capacity to learn is the same as a younger person in their teens or 20s?
No, definitely not.
Do you think young people today learn faster than generations before?
Yes, I do. I believe that very
So,
much.
so that's the problem, right? The ones that are there in these corporations 30 and 40 years, that stagnance of being there for so long instead of looking for what is next is the problem. Because it's your job to make way for who comes after you.
I like that.
Like, that's the whole point of life, in my opinion, to make better for who comes next, especially in a small country like Barbados.
True that.
And so I feel like as we grow, we have to remember that the buck does not end with us, and that our job is to, yes, enjoy and grow, but also to make easier for who comes next, so that there's continuous evolution and growth instead of blocking. Because when we block, then that creates desperation.
Yeah.
And that creates crime.
Yeah.
Because then young people become lost. They don't know what to do. The older ones who have gone through it, had the experiences, are the ones that are supposed to lead. And sometimes leading means stepping back and allowing those that come next to fit in. So
I think before you go on,
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
I think that the older people, they should play a very huge role in terms of mentorship,
Yes.
in terms of passing on that baton. That's very important.
Yeah.
Passing on their wealth of knowledge, passing on their experience, and pass on positivity as well too.
True that.
I find that some older people, they can sometimes be negative and say, you know what, you're not ready yet, and to those who have been told, to those younger people who have been told you're not ready yet, rubbish that, rubbish that and go forth and put in your best efforts, young people. Put in your best efforts. There will be people, and a lot of times older people, who will say, you know what, again, you ain't ready, buddy. But a lot of times, the older people, they would love to relive the glory days as well too. We have some of that as well too. But the older people should be there to pass on, that fantastic baton and that wealth of knowledge, and they should be there to mentor the young people. That is very important.
Hey, I can make an admission here. Whether you all laugh at me or not, that's up to you all. But this is my thing. You see, when I was in the sports program, when I was running, and I blame Bob for this too, because that Selby was just saying, pass on the baton to the younger generation. Bob was training two young gentlemen then on the 17 and under 20, Dario Ali and Ramon Gittins. So let me tell you something, right? Them little boys are fast. They sped up my retirement. I was like, sure, here, have the baton, gentlemen. Go right ahead. Because no young boys at 14 and 15, 16 taking my life on the track. I'm telling you, because while they might have their divisions on the 17 or under 20, at nationals,
right,
is a free for all. It's every man for yourself.
Yeah.
And I am not letting no young boys come and pull up my hamstrings. Me at 26 years old. Yeah. I retired early. I did done with that. It was like these young boys just getting faster and faster and faster, and I was done with that. And to be honest, right, it was refreshing to see, as from a sports perspective, our young men. We had young men that could compete at the Carifta level, and I was like, I can't wait to see what these boys get to do.
Yeah.
If they do transition on to maybe like a Olympics or maybe a Commonwealth or a NACA, you get me? I wanted to see where these young men go. Yeah. And for me, I believe that sport is an outlet for our young people to find positive means of not only just keeping out of trouble, but a way of like prospering economically, because it can be a career. Do we take sport for granted in Barbados? Do we possibly? What do you think, Darry?
I think we don't focus on enough of them. Maybe we focus on the one or two, maybe some cricket, maybe some football a little bit. But yes, I think athletics on a whole needs a boost, but we need to help those athletes, not just in their growth here and competing, but looking for life beyond athletics in Barbados.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, the world is a big place.
True.
And sometimes Barbados is not enough.
Yeah, it's true.
Sometimes they have ambitions outside, and sometimes those things can only be fed by the facilities and experiences that they can have outside of Barbados. And I think that we also need to, focus on making sure that those possibilities are available to them.
Yeah, and before you go on, Damien, how could we be taking sports seriously when we have closed down the Barbados, the Barbados Defense Force sports program,
Yeah.
citing financial issues? $1 million, a mere $1 million a year was needed to fund that program.
Yeah.
And it was closed down, citing financial issues. And unfortunately, we had gathering through from January to November,
True that.
16 million Barbados dollars. Now, the Barbados Defense Force sports program, I would call it a semi-professional.
It was,
of
it was,
course.
It was semi-professional. because
Semi-professional.
You were trained.
Yes.
You were given nutrition. You were allowed to go to school. You were given a stipend. So you were basically playing a sport or competing in a sport and being paid for it at the same time.
And citing again financial issues with a mere $1 million to fund the program. That is horrible. That is unacceptable. And I'm going to tell you something now. When the Democratic Labour Party holds the reins of government again, we will reintroduce the Barbados Defense Force sports program bigger and better. Because there's some young people, they would have gone to school, yes, they've done a little maths and English, but they're extremely talented. And they were able to come out to school, and they were able to get a little stipend, which would, and mind you, they received the stipend doing what they enjoyed doing for that time being. And I'm sure it kept a lot of young people from mischief. I can assure you, lots of young people.
I would have come across a video from the program recently, and they shared it on my Instagram. It was with Azard Weeks. He was corporal when I was in there. He was one of the individuals who was in charge of the program, who would have mentored us. He was disciplining a young man. He would have he's not supposed to wear jewelry with your sports program uniform, but he had on a gold chain. And he was going through this exercise of making him put it on and take it off.
Gotcha.
Like, put it on, take it off.
Of course.
Put it on, take it off. Put it on. And they're doing this for about 5 to 6 minutes, right? And then he asks him, you don't feel like a jackass?
Yeah.
Right? And it kind of made me emotional, because that's the type of discipline that we,
of course,
you understand me? That's the type of discipline that we would have experienced, but at the end of the day, it taught us respect for not only the military law, right, but for, I guess, rules and regulations that you will come into contact with when you go into other organizations,
Of course.
Grooming and how to wear your uniforms wherever you go, or your clothes and stuff. And I miss the program.
And let me just say this as well. Let me be clear. He mentioned the major sport in Barbados, cricket. And even cricket, semi-professional leagues are missing. A gentleman, he has to go and stir concrete from 9 to 5 and then go to practice. Semi-professional leagues where cricket is concerned and cricket development is vital. It is very difficult to stir concrete from 9 to 5, or whether you're in an office, because if you're in an office, you're working your brain, your mind, and obviously it's mental fatigue more so than anything else, than physical. The construction and stirring concrete obviously is physical, but you have two of those components combined, and then you have to go and practice with a ball coming at you 90 miles per hour and swinging and so forth. And it's near dark as well too, because the time is 5 o'clock, 5:30. So semi-professional leagues in Barbados, definitely needed. Not just one-off tournaments. You know, you look at the football as well too. You know, the Prime Minister's Cup, that's a decent initiative. However, you know, it's a one-off prize. The guys get a little stipend and so forth, but that is not enough. That is not enough. And I was glad that the young men, they were able to eat a food, as they would say, but they need to eat continuous foods in the country. Continuous food, not just a food, not just give them a fish so they could just eat for a day, you know, but teach them how to fish and they will eat for many more days. I continue to say that. I continue to say that. So we need to do much better. We need to invest our money and prioritize these billions and billions of dollars that we borrow and really put them into programs that will have some level of longevity in Barbados. Some level of longevity. We really need to do that.
I want to switch now to talking about youth and crime involvement. I am seeing some horror stories now where that we're seeing a young gentleman, as young as 16 years old, having probably 4 or 5 charges to their name, you know, and they're going to be remanded, right? They're going to be remanded. They're going to go through the court system, however long that takes, right? However long that takes, and then they're going to have this thing following them for almost merely for the rest of their life. Why are we losing our young gentlemen to crime? Why are we losing them? What do you think, Dari?
Honestly, I just think it's a matter of desperation, as I mentioned before. A lack of opportunity is going to turn into desperation, which turns into crime. And the easiest way sometimes to make a dollar, or the easiest way to survive, is to do what you see others doing. What seems like the fast and easy way to make a buck. And so usually that's crime, illegal ways. And so if we don't have those things in place, the sports programs, as Ramon mentioned, and other initiatives, distractions, then where are they going to turn to? Who are they going to turn to?
Ramon, what do you think? Why are we losing all of our young people to crime?
Again, a disclaimer. No excuse for crime and violence in Barbados. There isn't any excuse. However, one of the reasons I believe, idle hands. Idle hands. You know, we have a lot of young men underemployed. We have a lot of young men working 2 months on, unemployed for 2 months, 2 months again on, unemployed for 2 months. The light at the end of that tunnel is very dim. You know, it is extremely dim. In terms of a strong career, and you're working constantly temporarily, that, you know, they're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I'm trying not to use the word hope for various reasons, but you know, you're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and that is what is happening to a lot of young men. You know, that is what is happening to a lot of them, not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and not having the opportunities available. You know, the permanent opportunities available. So along with underemployment, we also have unemployment, which is very high amongst the youth. What they're saying, unemployment and underemployment is extremely high amongst the youth. You know, the youth, they are applying constantly. You know, some are even getting their CVs and resumes checked by HR professionals before they forward them, and there's some of them are still not getting an interview. You know, so you know, we talk about unemployment rate is, you know, it is at its lowest and so forth, but underemployment and unemployment is high amongst the youth. We have a serious issue with brain drain in Barbados. Why is that happening? You know, why is that happening? Why the youth, they're going overseas constantly? The job opportunities are lacking, and proper job opportunities are lacking. And that is something that we will deal with as a Democrat Liberal Party government. We will look at that in a serious way. We will prioritize that because we know there is a correlation between high crime and unemployment and underemployment. We know that. We know that. And we will deal with it in a serious way. It will be top priority where the Democrat Liberal Party is concerned.
You wanted to add something, Barry, or you're good?
No, I'm good. I'm in agreement.
We are now joined by Jamal Sandyford, candidate for St. Michael Northeast, Chef Sauce. So, Jamal, I can throw you in the deep end here now. Discussion now is youth and the crime. You know, why do you think that crime seems to be so attractive amongst our young men and young women? Why are we losing our young people to crime?
I'll be frank. People go and do things that are comfortable doing, and people go over the comfortable. So they put a hypothetical scenario here that we all well know. Young fella having issues in school. People claim he can't learn. That knowledge gets programmed in his brain. He don't believe that he could get school because everybody telling he ain't got no sense, he dumb, see, he can't learn. All kind of things to say to give the connotation that this person don't retain the information or understand the information. He's not supervised in the evenings because parents having hard times. So you know what's going to happen. They find themselves having to work later. So now when he leaves school, he's technically unsupervised, right? He was supervised within school for the most part, but once he left school, other than jurisdiction, right? What happens is he's going to want to find a place where he belongs because humans are companion creatures. We like to go where we belong. So he's not coming down at school. Nobody at home. Who you think you connect with? Like-minded individuals, right? Usually, those like-minded individuals now find themselves going someplace else. So we call it the block. The block now don't say, man, when a young don't come out here.
They accept them.
The block is saying, well, listen, we hear the sentence that you hear, come with us.
I get you.
And what happens now is the block people have open arms. And they're not necessarily bad people, but too much of nothing is good. And they have some habits that aren't too good. So what happens is that eventually these young individuals feel comfortable within this space. And eventually they will start to pick up the habits. And that is when we have the perpetuation of crime. Because your own individuals who see no issue with dealing with crime, with contributing to crime, and the younger individuals might find themselves adopting or adapting to that environment. And then there's also the individuals who know aren't perfect, who don't have the luxury to be able to avoid it, so you raise up in it. So there's more than one angle to look at it from. There's more than one circumstance. There's not a one cap fits all situation. However, these are some of the chronic issues that are happening within the country. You know, it all stems from somewhere, and I always go back to it. L-A-C-K, lack. You know, lack of something is going to cause you to have to do something else to compensate. And that is it. If you're hungry, and I know that many people in here might not necessarily feel the same way, but if you're hungry before you go to sleep, and you make it the next morning, you don't want to go through that again. You're going to want to find some way to curb that, to fix that, to change that, to alter that. And if you can't find money the easy way, you can't find money the legal way, you can look the illegal way, because you barely telling you sentence and your grandma telling you something. It is a reality of life. So I get it. I'm not advocating for it. That's what we here at the Democratic Party are aiming to do. We are aiming to change that. We don't feel comfortable knowing that somebody's going to stay hungry, whether it be adult or child, for the last child. So that's just one of the things that I believe contributing to the hamster wheel, the invisible hamster wheel we know as crime and violence in the country.
And I think we're missing a key element here as well too. Obviously no excuse for taking recreational drugs or mind-altering drugs at any age. But when you go ahead and you take these mind-altering drugs at the age in which your brain is in the process of developing, it can be disastrous and catastrophic. You know, it can have serious negative effects on the mind and the direction in which you think. you know, and that is something that we need to look at, because we have young people as young as 9, 8, 9, mind altering drugs. You know, some are going to school instead of having breakfast in the morning. Mind altering drugs.
I want to touch on that more. I want you to clarify, right? When you say mind altering drugs, because you know everybody might not be aware of what you're referring to. We might be thinking cannabis, other people know it as weed. What, when you say mind altering drugs, what specifically comes to mind?
I'm talking about alcohol. I'm talking about weed. I'm talking about Molly. I'm talking about Percocets. I'm talking about lean. I'm talking about X, whatever.
Oh, your list goes on.
You understand? Are mind altering, because I put alcohol in there. You know, at such a young age, again, the mind is in the process of developing. We must be careful where that is concerned. It can have negative effects on the mind. You know, so that's something that we need to have serious conversations about. You know, again, I'm not supporting taking my altering drugs at all, but I mean, when you reach a certain age, that is then your responsibility.
Yes, when you reach 18,
Yeah,
and no earlier than 18.
that is your responsibility then, right? But in terms of the young people, and the development of their minds,
especially their minds,
of course, right? We need to have that serious conversation in this country, because young people are indulging, you know, and you know, we gotta look at the fact that they're not. It's not just alcohol now. It's the hard stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
it's the life-changing stuff.
The life-changing stuff.
The one hit, and then your life's gone.
Of course, right. So that is something that we need to have serious conversation about.
So if I may, gentlemen, speaking specifically to you gentlemen as who are candidates, so what do the young people need from a political party, a government, a representative? If we strip away the slogans, you know, what do young people really want from any political party that says that they represent them? What do you think that they want from a representative?
I'll tell you what I can say. I had a conversation this afternoon with some gentlemen that I went to court and party with, and it's the first one long time we have a conversation. Like, and all of me are in the middle of the road, come Mr. DLP apart. And this is a long needed conversation. This conversation get me to realize that young people are invested in politics.
Yeah.
This conversation led me to understand that they have a very close eye on what this government is doing. They have a very close eye on what we also are doing. And what was brought to my attention is that, yes, we are making a lot of confrontation to what the government is doing, but they don't care. They want solution. They know that what the government is doing, they have no control over. They want to see what we are going to do about it. And they don't just want chronic complainers. They want action behind our words. They want to see how these philosophies that we carry align and what becomes, you know, what comes from it. So I honestly, I'm happy that I had that conversation today. It got me thinking in a direction that, you know what, young people are waking up. Not just on the social media. You know what I mean? Like, to have the conversation with a young candidate, and I hear words like they need to see more young people within politics. I hear things like they would like to see what a young MP would do, because we will connect, we will understand, we will be able to identify the best ways to help young individuals. So I get to realize that that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a solution. What say you, Ramon?
What say me? Goes as intimate as saying, chalk him out. You know, simple issue and challenge they're looking at. Believe it or not, lots of talented young men and ladies in chalk him out. But you know what is happening, or what is not happening? There isn't a pasture, someplace they can play football, cricket, any type of sport at all. There isn't any community center, any base in which they can interact, after school programs, lessons in Chalky Mount.
Wow.
It's a desert. You know, a lot of buckweed and so forth just blowing about the place.
Wow.
You know, And at least a pasture with a pavilion. At least a pasture with a pavilion that the young people can, play some sports.
A safe space.
A safe space.
Okay.
They would love that, but it has not happened.
I want to say one thing. You mentioned just now about the government and power. And I feel like that is a common thought, or how Caribbean or Bajans feel. And I really want to remind them that they actually have the power.
Yes, they do.
The power to make the change and the power to demand change, whether a government is in or out.
Correct.
They do not have to agree with policy. And I think that is a part of politics that needs to be disseminated to the Bajans so that they understand the measures that they can take when they don't want something to happen, instead of being passive and just complaining. I know a lot of people like things like striking and stuff like that. People are fear those things because you got to put money in your pocket. But taking money out of the economy is a bad thing for the government. And so when you exercise your power as a citizen, it forces the government to listen to you. And I just want people to remember that.
Yeah, and I'll say something quickly as well, too, right? I think we have to go back to the days where we serve the people. We
already in the days that we serve the people, but who don't serve the people. Let's specify that.
Don't afraid that. And I didn't get the chance to complete what I was saying. The Barbados Labour Party-led government.
Here we go.
Arrogance and being a celebrity is rampant. Reigns rampantly. We must get back to service to the people. The people would have put us there. The people would have put the Barbados Labour Party-led ministers and representatives there. They need to serve the people. You know what? You don't bother. When the Democratic Labour Party becomes government, we will serve the people. We will serve the people. The people will not serve us. We're not kings perched on high. We will serve the people of Barbados in this country.
Dari,
Give us that chance.
Dari, you live in St. Andrew, right?
Yes.
You live in St. Andrew. So let me throw this question at you. Say you don't know Ramon. When you see Ramon come to you knowing he's coming with his political messages and he's canvassing,
Right.
what do you want to hear from him that is going to get you invested in coming out and bringing that vote to, I guess, to him and telling him, well, yeah, I hear you and I will invest my vote in you. What do you want to hear?
Well, to be honest, I want to hear him say that he hears me. I want him to listen to me.
Dari, I hear you.
And I mean, that goes for Ramon, the DLP candidate. It doesn't matter to me. It goes for whoever's canvass and whoever comes to my door. I want you to listen to me first.
Right.
Because what I want you to tell me after I tell you my problems, or what I think are my community's problems, is how you plan to solve those problems, or at least that you will consider those problems. Because you may come to me with solutions to a bunch of problems that I don't care about.
Well said.
Well said.
So then you're not getting my vote because, well, you're talking about things that don't bother me. But you have to listen to the community so that you understand the biggest problems the community has, so you can address those problems. So if you're not listening, I can't be on board.
I'm happy you said that. Funny enough, I'm pretty sure you must know what I spend majority of my evening canvassing. That's why I made it here. To be upfront with you, right?
Well, you're working.
And I just left two longer conversations because I left for one. I kept myself another before I get to the car. The reality is this: I had long conversations with some older individuals, and the same thing said, Dari, they wanted to know what I want to do, what is my vision. And I tell them, honestly up front, I can't tell you everything I plan to do because I am not a touch and a go person. I'm not going to come and say, okay, I can do this and I can do that. I need to know how this affects you. I carry out something called a needs assessment first.
Of course.
I need to know what's best suited for you because every area in the constituency is different.
Correct.
Every area has different problems.
That's true.
Some have lower lighting. Some have a lot of bush, need some debushing. Some have crime. So every area is a bit different. And just like any doctor, you don't just prescribe Panadol and say, oh, you had hernia, water. This person might have suffering from migraines. This person, like some people might have a lactose intolerance, so consuming dairy might be Panadols might not necessarily be the solution. I mean, you need to examine them and say, hold on, your body doesn't tolerate dairy. Let's cut out dairy and see what happens. Let's find a substitute for dairy. Since you like dairy so much, or since you may be missing calcium. So for me, that is my solution, to go about it from a problem-solving perspective, right? But every candidate won't do that. And so far, we have seen this from the other side. But I will digress there.
Yeah, but I get the sense, Jamal, that some will test you.
Oh, yes.
Because when you go and constantly rattle off things like that, some will side you. And they will say, yeah. But you know, they want to know if this gentleman is a stranger to sanity. I haven't told him what my challenges are, and he continues to do like all the rest and rattle off all the rest on the Barbados Labour Party side and not listen.
But the difference between me and them is, as you say, I had very long conversations, learning the chronic issues, the different perspectives, the different personalities, and overall the living conditions of the people. So now I know for this particular area, I can't do what I'm going to do in Bourne's Village. I can't do what I want to do in Bush Hall. I can't do what I do in Whitehall. So any day is about finding out exactly what the people want, what they need, and how best you can serve them.
Yeah, the thing about it is when you get that side A, right, they might be thinking in their heads, it's my capping. And capping, aka for the older.
I'm glad you confirmed
it means lies.
Correct. We don't need bottling juice.
Capping means lying, right? So they're gonna say, "Are you?" And then they're gonna say, "You are lying through your teeth, sir." You know, they're not gonna take you seriously.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone does it, right? But you know what the truth is? Once they see that you have been doing work, not just listening, but doing work for the community that serves them, even though some of the things that you have done haven't begun to impact their community, they start to believe. They start to regain hope, because I can tell you something. Somebody constituency talked to after yesterday, I won't call any names, I was asked not to, but they have lost faith in their former party. And that's the best way to phrase it. The reality is that they had their 7 years.
Of course.
And these people have these issues for more than the 7 years. And you say you would help, and you haven't helped. The people want someone who will, who don't just listen and hear, oh yeah, we'll look into it, oh yeah, we'll get back to it. They want action.
Understood. I was talking in the context of listening first.
Oh yes, you need to.
Yes, that's the first thing. It sounds simple, but we were talking about the fact that a simple thing is not done. Listen, that's the first thing you need to do.
That's where it starts.
Of course, that is where it starts.
Correct, because you listen and learn.
And there we go.
Gentlemen, have you then, well, we know that there's a lot of voter apathy now in the country. So are you putting forward the case, because it seems that you're putting forward the solutions now to address that voter apathy? You know, more actions, yes, words, obviously, because you have to communicate with these individuals, but they must see action. And I listened to Comrade Torn, the leader this evening, and he made us aware of something that is going on. This government seems to like it when individuals depend on them.
Oh boy.
They create this environment of dependency.
Oh boy.
Because he's saying that there are representatives of that government who pay late bills. You get me? There's nothing wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with helping somebody when they really, really need it. But when that is when that is the pattern, you're just creating a state of dependency. You're not empowering anybody. You're not bringing any social policies to help those individuals make money so that they can pay their own bills.
Correct.
You're putting them in a situation where they always have to come back to you, the minister, for help to buy food, for help to pay bills, for help to send school your children. And that is not good. So what we need now to do is to put ourselves in the situations where we help people to empower themselves and to rise above the poverty that they will be in.
Correct.
As candidates, is that how you are going to address the voter apathy? By telling them, listen, we're not going to give you handouts because we're not going to be a handout government. We're going to be an empowerment government. Is that the way you're going to reach the people?
I'm glad you said it, Fanus. Here's the truth. I have started aiding, I use that word very strongly, aiding young people within the constituency.
Right.
People that don't have work, yes, it is easy to go and call 1,000 people and say, listen, do you need this, do you need that, or text somebody CV and send it to 1,000 people and just say I send it. But for me, that is not always the case. That doesn't always work. I want to make sure that when I do something, I know it impacts the person the way I expect it to. So what I tend to do is I ask the person, do you want a job, or would you be interested in attempting entrepreneurship?
Right.
When they see that they're interested in attempting entrepreneurship, that is when we start to look at things to solve this problem. People have skills, people have talents, people have gifts. And when you sit down and you look at it, I'm a person who does marketing, so you could do anything. I could find a way to make it happen, you know, and sales and find market space and so on. So the thing is, that's what I do. I commend the opportunity to be able to just say, okay, you want work? Listen, water authority needs somebody to help dig up roads. I commend that. You know, if you could get somebody a government job, without the contract, the 2-month, 3-month contracts, that's perfect. That is sustainability. However, you're right, we're looking at being a government that makes people self-sustainable. And I mean, you can't expect people to be self-sustainable. And you have taxes so high. You know, you can't expect people to be self-sustainable and you're always importing stuff. How the local farmers will benefit. But you know, I don't want everything that can make my own target.
What I can tell you is that I think one of the common themes when I go and I hear the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party share the same philosophy. That is rubbish. People of Barbados, young, old,
Talk your talk, man.
that is rubbish. The Democratic Labour Party's philosophy is built on people, of the people, for ordinary Barbadian in this country. That is why it attracted me. It aligns with my philosophy. All I know is service. I've been serving now for a very long time. Yes, I'm not that old, but I've been servicing and serving people for a long time. You know, so the Democratic Labour Party philosophy is built on the ordinary Barbadian, ordinary to middle class Barbadian. So I align with that. I love that. So it's totally different. The Barbados Labour Party is built on the upper class, the business class, upper big business class, you know, and also F&F as well, friends and family.
Friends and family.
You know, friends and family, you know. But the Democratic Labour Party is about that ordinary Barbadian. And what I usually, and all people, not just the ordinary Barbadian, but all people.
But we are all centric.
Of course.
Correct.
All walks of life.
Correct.
So you would find the Democratic Labour Party would put forth policies that would start within the community and branch out. Not from big ups and come in. Trickle down economics is not one of the
No, we make sure that we
want the
want
Democratic Labour Party.
Correct. We
Of
want
course
the
not.
standard citizen.
Of course, the ordinary Barbadian.
It's time to make sure that they're covered.
Of course.
It's them that have the hardest time getting around.
Of course.
And you
The
want
most vulnerable.
board.
The
Yes.
most vulnerable.
Yeah, most vulnerable.
The most
And then
vulnerable.
the way that they get around, you want to come and alter that.
Yes.
You want to turn that public transportation to privatized transportation.
That
Yes.
affects more than half of the population, by the way.
More than half.
Of course, of course. So I always say to younger people who say that we are the same, we are not the same.
Oh, definitely not the same.
We are not from the same cloth at all. That is rubbish, right? So I say to them, we have a situation where we are having some challenges in Barbados, numerous challenges. I've been having challenges for the last 7 years. If you do not go there and vote, you are voting for the incumbent. You are voting for these challenges for another 5 years. And again, they go ahead and they start to rebut, and then they say, you know what? You're making sense. So if you don't go out there and vote, you do not voice your concerns, you don't voice your opinion, you are actually participating.
It is true though.
Participating in the challenges.
I actually would.
Atrocities that are happening in Barbados currently.
I actually
So
would
get
try
up
to say-
there and vote.
Before you jump in, Sauce, I want to get Dari's opinion on this. As someone who is an entrepreneur himself, what do you think would benefit you? What would you like to see in social policy that would benefit you in regards to, I guess, taking your entrepreneurship journey to the next level?
Well, I've been doing some research because right now I have some ideas that I really want to put into practice and get some different businesses going. I won't speak on what those are.
But that's
don't do
nice.
But,
That is nice.
but I just think there needs to be more zero collateral seed funds for individuals that are interested in pursuing entrepreneurship. I think there needs to be more help, and these guys mentioned it before, mentorship with helping our young people that are interested in entrepreneurship develop their ideas beyond just what is in their mind, and helping them to understand again what the reach is and what they can do with it, thinking outside of the box, thinking outside of Barbados, instead of just developing services that serve Bajans and the Barbadian public. We have very smart individuals. We have a very educated population, and I think our reach needs to be
Broaden. Yeah, broaden.
so anything that will help us reach those ambitions, I am all for.
Right. So I guess that when you take into consideration what the challenges that the young people are facing, you also must take into consideration that young people eventually become old people.
Yep.
Right? And
A fact of life.
and at some point they're going to need to access social security. We've seen a situation now where this government did something where they thought it was so intellectually out there, so intelligent, so I don't know, groundbreaking, where they wrote off the debt to social security, the couple billion that the government would have owed to the Barbadian people. The government was supposed to pay that back to the Barbadian people. They would have cancelled that. They would have wrote off that debt. And now we're seeing a situation now where that they have to raise the pensionable age because of that as a byproduct. They've now put pressure on the scheme itself. So now pensionable age has to go up. To what is it now? I think they're moving it to 68 and then 69.
2038.
So my question to you now, gentlemen, we have to take into consideration that our young people will then become old people, who will then become pensioners. Do you see that as a focus where the Democratic Labour Party can put back faith into the scheme itself and let people know, well, listen, you shouldn't have to work till you're 99 years old to get a pension?
But the challenge is, we actually forgot to mention one of the things that will happen is that, you know, as people become older, they're not retiring. It then narrows employment,
For younger.
you know, an employment opportunity for younger people. You know, that will happen. You know, that will happen in a serious way. And again, if we seeing brain drain now, imagine what we're going to see as time goes on. So it's something that we need to look at seriously as the Democratic Labour Party government, and it's something that we will be looking at, the Democratic Labour Party government. You know, it needs to be looked at. It's a very serious thing. You will die at your desk. You know, you will die at your desk.
Or shortly after you leave
Or
it.
shortly after you leave it.
And that's actually the issue that you're finding now, because yes, people are talking about centenarians and be glad to have them, but you have to ask yourself how them get there. You know, or if you ask a majority of centenarians how they get there, they left or early. You know?
Of course.
Do your research. Now, here's the thing I want to bring to the attention. You bring a striking argument, just.
Of course.
If the age is 67 and they're trying to push the age of retirement up higher again,
Yeah.
right? It means that you have to work longer.
Yeah.
You ain't leaving your work, you're walking in. You know, and this creates a huge gap for the younger people. So we have a lot of low employment rate for the youth, or high unemployment rate. I'll be choosing to phrase it, which means that there's a space that could happen if the older people get to retire early, to get the money and get to go home and enjoy their lives, instead and go to slave on the hands of you. And the youth now, who don't get the opportunity to work, well, you know where they're ahead.
Yeah.
They're going to look for fast money.
Of course.
Because they can't get the opportunity to work out no money. And I mean, they're also even deprived of other innovation. You know, mentioned that we have a lot of young and skillful youth, right?
Correct.
Which means that majority of these youth also will be interested in being innovative and doing new things. You know that we have a structure in Barbados where we don't really fully cultivate the youth. We don't really create the forums for them to be able to do certain things. One of my biggest things is that overseas in Jamaica, they have the opportunity to make money from YouTube freely. You know, just do some content, get out there, and I know so many young people come across it greater myself, right? So many of people who would love the opportunity to be able to say, you know what, as soon as school done, I can be a gamer. As soon as school done, I can be a vlogger. As soon as school done, I can do some podcasts. Yes, you find some people doing it for the love of it, but why can't it be a profession? Why can't it be a money-making career? You know, why hasn't the government decided, you know what, there's a huge interest in this area. Why don't we just make contact with the people, respective personnel, and then open the floodgates?
That's a good question, because I spent 9 years in the US, 3 of which I was in school, and DJing on TikTok actually helped me pay a lot of bills.
Wow!
There we go.
I kid you not, I was able to sell merchandise, I was able to receive gifts, and it helped me pay a lot of bills.
That's
I'm sure
testimonial right there.
And I'm just saying that to say that I know that these things can help people here. And that's why I keep saying about technology and your reach. It's not just about Barbados. We have too much to offer to the world
Yes.
to just
I
focus
agree.
on what is here.
I agree. And that's a pet peeve of mine. And you would know it, you know.
Big.
Where creatives are concerned.
Big.
You know, why can't we have some conversations with the people overseas? We have conversations where loans are concerned constantly. You know, how
Well
about
said.
getting these things that are regionally barred? You know, in terms of monetization, why we can't negotiate? Why we can't get, you know, have a serious conversation about them? So the young influencers and so forth can make some money. You know, why not?
My thing is it isn't just that. It's a situation where we are saying this, you know. We can see there's an active demand where the young people are concerned.
Of course.
How many young people are on TikTok?
Yes.
I mean, look at the views, look at the likes, and just imagine, convert this to dollars.
And we have very talented young people in Barbados.
Skillful.
Let me say this again. We have very talented young people in Barbados. Talented and ambitious, you know. And they're going to go back to the pensions. I mean, I don't know how far-fetched this is, but as you work longer and you get older and stress and so forth, right? In terms of health issues, those will rise. Will that not put a lot more strain on the health system?
I get hammer down on your point here too,
You know?
Ramon.
That can be a factor as well too. But an already struggling health system, you know.
I mean, let me start looking at some of the issues that, as we find in Barbados, people get older, let me call them senior citizens, have to face. We have everybody with nobody arthritis. The unfortunate would be with some level of have some level of diabetes. Following that, you will have cataract, glaucoma, and the list goes on. You really would like to know that the person that's supposed to be handling your affairs is going through this struggle, is going through this pain and torment, and have to work 3 or whoever knows how much longer years.
And one of the things too that you're not talking about is working environments that are not ergonomic. You know, carpal tunnel. Carpal tunnel. That's what we call
Yes,
it.
that's it.
There we go. I'm not a doctor, medical doctor, but I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But I guess the viewers know what I'm talking about.
I believe so.
There are a lot of working environments, unfortunately, that are not ergonomic. So imagine now working that length of time in an environment that is not ergonomic. It will put serious strain on the already ailing health system.
Yeah.
It will. That will happen. You know.
Correct.
I guess based on my communication just now, and I see head shaking in the panel. It's not that far fetched.
Oh no, it's not far fetched at all.
Far fetched.
Not at all.
All right.
I'm actually here impressed because I'm sitting down here listening to young people talking about ergonomics and thinking about senior citizens who have to work beyond the years that they should, suffering from arthritis, the failing eyesight and stuff like that. And gentlemen, to tell the truth, I mean, I don't want to shift the conversation, but I have a program I want to get through.
Sure.
And I mean, especially when Sauce is here, he co-ops my programs each and every single time, but I laying down the law because the producer told me to. So we can shift now to the police. We can shift now to the police. No, I want to look at it from this perspective. We are finding a lot of our young people engaging in the underground economy. Right? It seems like crime is attractive or is very attractive to them. Can we create a space where being a police officer is attractive? Where our young people, instead of finding themselves engaging in crime, they can find themselves engaging in law enforcement. Is that a focus now that we as a party can bring to the fore for the people? And so we are going to empower our police, help them with recruitment drives, help them with the equipment, the policy, the pay, the insurance, everything. Can we do that as a policy going forward?
I believe it's something that we could do extensive review on before coming to a concrete solution, because I think that we really need to examine not just from a policy perspective, but from the police perspective, what the current administration of police would prefer to have. Because I'm pretty sure that we have some of those things in place already, right? But are they getting them though? We keep hearing cries that police are not being paid the right amount. They have years like from the COVID-19 back days that people haven't been receiving compensation for. So I mean, my thing is that yes, some of these things are in place, but I think what we would need to do is seriously look into it, find out how to craft policies that better suit them, and not just do a touch and let go policy that the government did just a couple of months ago with the amendment of the Policing Act that have a lot of people disturbed. In fact, I remember posting on my Instagram and I got over 900 and somewhat likes that showed me how serious people taking this amendment, The people are not happy. So we really need to find out from the police exactly what would be the correct solution. I'm not going to jump out here and say no. I'm not a police myself. But what I'd be willing to do is sit down with at least 50 of them and hear from different perspectives what would actually help them. But I don't want to give you too much more information, right?
We can't jump too far.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we would need to look at and review the pay scale of the police for it to be more attractive. We're joining the police force. The police deserves every single cent that they make that money. They put their lives on the line every single nanosecond. Even if they're going to have a casual meal at a gas station, someone could be lurking, someone they would have arrested or whatever the case. They every single time they put on that uniform, they put their lives on. We need to look at the pay scale and the benefits where the police is concerned. Don't take them for granted. They work hard. Do not take the police for granted. Not only police, the nurses as well too.
No boy, healthcare. Oh yes, healthcare.
Nurses. I want to advocate on behalf. Look at the pay scale of the nurses as well too. You should never take those entities and those personnel for granted.
You literally can't live without them.
We cannot.
In some cases, you literally can't live without them.
We cannot. And for those who say, police this and police that, the first thing the first time that something happens, guess who they call?
The only boy that could call?
They don't call the Ghostbusters.
Well, Ramon, I'm glad you touched on that because my comment was really going to be about the view of the police force in Barbados. And just a couple weeks ago or months ago, I heard on the radio they were pushing for more people to join the police force.
Yeah.
And a thought hit my mind, and I considered it, and I tried to get more information about, you know, the opportunities that would be available for somebody like me who is in technology. And one of the things that I learned is that I would have to do, I think, 2 years policing first.
Oh boy.
I will tell you, for me, that scared me.
Yeah.
Because I'd never seen myself policing. And I say that to say, what is the current view of young people and the police force in Barbados? Are people still growing up thinking I want to be a police officer? Because money and benefits is not the only thing that's going to make people gravitate to the police force.
Well said.
You have to change the view of the police force in the public's eye. So if they're not seeing the police force as something to be proud of, they're not going to be interested. You're going to have the wrong people interested for the wrong reasons.
You make a very good point. I know when I was younger, you know, I wanted to be a police, but there was a height requirement.
It was or it still is,
I
Ramon.
don't think there's a height requirement anymore. It was a height requirement, unfortunately.
So it sounds like it's a discrimination of concentrated
Well,
people.
no, there was a height requirement. You know, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I wasn't able to join. I mean, as I said, there was a phase because I respected the police in a serious way. You know, you would be there giving some trouble and so forth at home, and your mother will say, you know what, I can call the police for you, and you go and run it. The reality about the question is that outlook
Still there.
Does that outlook still prevail in this society?
Well, not to interrupt you though, Ramon, but the police, you know, you could have. I've heard of situations where that parents would call the police and say, "Listen, I got a bad behaved little boy, I got a bad behaved little girl. Send somebody to come and talk to me." And they used to take their time out. They will come and pull up, you know, in the police vehicle, and they will come and talk to you serious, and that would shake you up. The police used to provide that type of service, and it was something that it was outside of their remit. You get me? Because it wasn't like, well, they were part of the juvenile liaison scheme to the point, because when I was in the juvenile liaison scheme, obviously my handler was a police officer.
Okay.
But to do that was like a social service, like something that you give back to the community. Going and see a wayward youth and your parent frightened of the road that you're heading down, and she called the police officer and said, "Listen, he behaving bad, come and talk to he and shake you up."
Give some guidance.
Give some guidance. And you know, that is something that to me I respected.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if it happens now. I'm not sure if anybody even deploys that anymore or even studies that tactic. But that is something that I would have remembered hearing growing up that you just reminded me about, Ramon. I hope I didn't.
No, what I could say, again, it brings me back to another point, and another question. Do ladies, and you know, this might sound frivolous, but do ladies, you know, still love to see a man in uniform?
Oh my God.
Or do ladies prefer to see big chains and sagging and so forth? You know, that's the question. Because I could tell you, one of the encouraging factors is, was before, I don't know if that's still the thing, is how the opposite sex feels about me putting on a uniform.
Well
That is,
said.
I mean, again, it might be frivolous, but it's a question.
I mean, we are companion beings, so
We're young people.
you know we're companion beings. So I find that is a thing.
That is the question.
But more, you know, they got some good looking policemen too. So I guess it goes the same, you know, and you can say that. But I think what I like about it is to know that the police, the individual of the police, is a person who has morals, you know, and doesn't just sit on the sidelines. They take action every single day they put on uniform to help with somebody else's life, you know. That is a very giving person. So I think that's something that very few people get involved in. So that's for me where it would start, right? Everybody's anyways not. They got a couple of bad apples that suddenly me look at the whole bunch a certain way. To be quite frank, however, I come across a lot of good-hearted people, especially within the force.
What I would recommend to that would bring some more respect to the police as well, is that you allow the police to do their jobs. When the police, their action, when they are trying to solve a crime or solve a challenge in the community, forget the calls. Forget the calls. Allow the police to carry out their work. And I'm telling you, respect would be due in a serious way. Allow the police to be police. Allow them to do what they are paid to do. Not enough. They're not paid enough.
Well, you know that's a fact.
But allow them to do what they are supposed to do. Do not impede the path of them solving and dealing with challenges in this country. If we do that, respect will be due and will come back to the police force. I can tell you.
Dari, you sound like you look like if you want to add something to what Ramon was saying. Am I putting you out? Am I throwing you out in the deep end?
No, I think so. I think I was in agreement. I think the respect aspect of it is kind of what I was focusing on. Like I don't think that there's enough of that anymore. And yet, who else do we call when we have a problem?
All right.
According to Ramon, not the Ghostbusters.
Sure, right.
But the truth of the fact is, if I may say, sometimes we see the police as gangsters. We feel intimidated by them, and we shouldn't be. We should know that when we call our police officers, when we see our police officers, that they're there to help us, not to feel afraid of them. So something needs to be done, like I said, about how we receive them and how we view them and how they are treated.
So, moving on to this next particular segment, I want to look at how can we reach our youth. What is the process of understanding them through our research and through our outreach? Because me being somebody who engages in social research, and as I consider myself a social scientist, right? I do a lot of my research on social media, right? And I've been made aware of some very alarming trends now with this Gen Z, the Gen Zers, right? Could you imagine, right? Could you imagine now? Because you remember, I know if you guys remember the trends with the Air Force Ones, right? When Nelly sang the song, get me in my Air Force Ones, and those were the shoes, right? The low cut ones. Everybody wanted a pair of Air Force Ones or Nikes. No, we are seeing a trend now where that the young people are saying, K&M on the Air Force Ones. So that is in North America. That's in North America. Guess what is the shoe now, right? They're saying that the Air Force Ones are the unk shoes, the old people shoes. Guess who's the shoes that the Gen Zers are really looking at now?
Yeses?
No.
Those ones that were once cricket shoes.
New Balance.
New Balance.
Yeah.
I thought that one had.
Pass.
Pass. But they are wearing the Yeses now.
Yeah, well, if they're wearing that, they're probably wearing that as well. I
mean, they're wearing crops too.
And I'm telling myself now, it seems like we need to move away from the traditional way and gathering data to reach our young people. We need to move away from the questionnaires because nobody don't want to fill out a 100-item questionnaire asking them about certain trends and stuff like that. It seems like you need to sit and have a conversation with our young people, or you need to do your research where they are at, which is the TikTok, the IG, and stuff like that. Do you think the social media? Do we need to be more social media savvy now to reach our young people? I can throw this at you, Darry.
I agree 100%, and I wouldn't say just do the research. Get involved in what the young people are doing. Participate.
Yeah,
that will help you to understand them better. Understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, the things that are interesting to them. Just standing from the outside and looking at data only tells
so much.
As a tech professional, data does not have the context that you need. So you need to be involved in order to understand.
So what about you, Roman? What do you think?
I echo the same sentiments as my brother here. Get involved. This word is going to be a common word in this forum. Listen to the young people.
I'm glad that you emphasize on that.
Yeah. Go into their circles, go into their habitat, you know, and listen to them. You know, some forums where they can just sit down and you listen. Try not to impede impede the conversation of what they're saying.
Or just talk to them rather than
don't
listen.
interrupt.
Right.
Do not interrupt, please. Just listen.
Embrace.
You know, and embrace. You know, try not to come with a preconceived notion that this is how it is supposed to be. As the only thing that is constant is change. That's the only thing that is constant, and we need to accept that as we get older. You know, we need to accept that as we get older. But listen to them.
Right.
Please.
I find that we as older people, right? I'm saying we as older people. I don't like doing this anyhow, but
Yeah,
I find that older people, they tend to listen to respond rather than to understand.
I just find yourself cutting in.
And if you understand,
So the reality is, we as young people, like I said, we as young people, we need to remember something, right? These people lived before me, you know. That's the first thing to bear in mind. And it's I've been there before. Like, I've been talking, and they would give me their guidance, and they realize something. It isn't always that they want to live your life as we seem to all sometimes feel, right? It is sometimes that they may have experienced something in the past that they might not want for us to also experience. And I think if it happens too much, then it feels like, oh, it's always the same thing, right? But if sometimes we just take the time to once again listen. You might realize that there's a deeper message going on, right? There's a deeper message going on.
Listen, we gotta listen to it, you know. We young people gotta listen to it.
Correct.
And you made a very good point.
I don't know, I can tell you so.
Of course.
I just have to listen every day.
They were there before, so we have to listen as well.
Correct.
We gotta listen to.
Because I always say to them, I haven't seen what you have seen as yet. And then coming up in a time that you may not get to see what I'm saying also. So there needs to be a equal or very close to adequate exchange.
Yes.
You know, and I think one of the issues we have as young people is the barriers to effective communication. You know, like age barriers are something to consider. You know, because when you live up in a time or come up in a time where the biscuits used to sell in tins and selling all the time. You know, we never experienced that. All we know was the pot. The only tin of biscuits, you know, is the Danish biscuit cookies I see every Christmas here. That's the only tin of biscuits I know. So you see, what happens is there's a diversity and a broad gap that I think each person has to be willing to listen to kind of bridge and meet in the middle.
Listen.
Oh yes.
When that person is talking, you listen.
Sure.
And person.
Respect.
And that should be reciprocated. You know, that is how we will learn.
That's the only way. That's the only way. But yes, Darryl, you're right. 100%
Mutual respect.
Mutual respect, and it shows mutual respect. You're correct. Very, very correct. So of course.
Jamal, you weren't here earlier, but I would have mentioned the conversation that we would have had with our brother Neil.
Marshall.
Yes, Neil Marshall, when he was saying that he obviously there's this gap between understanding young people because he's from a different era. Right?
Very understandable.
And that admission in itself, I found it was very touching because to me it's not a weakness. You know, it is saying young people need to lead young people.
Correct.
You get me? You just give them a space that they can operate, give them the resources they need to succeed, and they will succeed, and we follow on to that.
Correct.
You get me? So it was refreshing to hear an older, you know, respectable gentleman come and tell you as a young person. I will not understand you, but I know that the only way to reach you is if I give you the platform for you to reach other people.
I actually want to hammer in on your point as well, because remember 2 years earlier I had a conversation with a young gentleman that I haven't seen since school years, and one of the things that, because they both charted different lives and different career paths, but they both agreed on something today in the car. Both of them say that in their respective fields, the older generation usually is the persons who have the higher management levels, right? And they're often asked them or somebody around their age group now, which is my age group, for insight. How do you do yada yada? Do you think that the people will appreciate this one and this one? And then one particular tell me that he said, yeah, you will definitely love this. I said, but we can't go with that one. And he was like, why can't we go with that one? And this is like, once again, the same barriers to communication. You know, they're trying to do something that reaches everybody. But I think this is where we really need to diversify, and as you say, like, let young people work with young people. Right. And I'm not saying to ever cast all aside, because it's you that help us learn the way as well.
It's true.
Right? Never ever would I ever say that. However, what I'm saying is that they brought a valid point. They don't want, the young people don't want to just feel like you're just there to do heavy lifting. You know, they want to feel like we have input, we know what they're like, and that we are best suited for communicating when it comes to them. So when I hear both of them agree on that, today was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk about this evening, and I'm glad that you brought the topic up, that it actually gave me the opportunity to let you guys know, see what you said. I will come back and I will relay the information, because we are of the people, for the people.
And this is where now I have to jump in and give my utmost kudos to leader Ralph Thorne.
Oh yes.
Who would have created an environment that fosters our young people, those who want to give of themselves to service. He's created that environment where people like you, me,
yes,
you know,
the list goes on.
The list goes on.
Goes on.
You know, people who are now probably in their 30s and just going into their 40s, who are just there upon that precipice with being in touch with the young people.
Oh yeah.
A platform that they can be heard. And there's something else that I really want to address too, because sometimes when I go on social media, I get so depressed. You know, sometimes when I hear the comments or see the comments online, it's as if like people feel that the Barbados Labour Party has this monopoly on intellectual beings. They have this monopoly on professional beings. That is the only place where these individuals will go. If I do not subscribe to that particular party's philosophy, I'm not going to go and join that party.
Correct.
If I believe that that the Democratic Labour Party supports the working class, I as an intellectual, I as a professional, am going to join the Democratic Labour Party
and support
their philosophies.
Correct.
You get
their
me?
Principles.
Because people act as if like me as a young person, you as a young person, as if like we don't have a choice, as if we don't have different opinions, as if we might see something and say, nah, I don't think I can subscribe to that. But over here, you know, yellow is the code. And I believe in yellow is the code, so I will go where I believe that my philosophies align. So then when I hear this what I call it, this intellectual dishonesty, and you put it out on social media, it seems as if like those individuals, when you see young people now who might see people disparaging a party, they might tell themselves, well, they might get discouraged and say, well, maybe I shouldn't, you know. And that to me is wrong, because no one party has a monopoly on intelligence, professionalism, or even philosophy.
I want to hop back in on what you said there just now, right?
Yes, sir.
This conversation I had today was also pretty long, and this is another topic that popped up.
Yeah.
As you might have expect, after getting a bit of political conversation I wasn't expecting, my next choice would be to, you know, I would offer to join or ask for assistance, and the reaction that I got shook me. Who not, boy? You know, and this shows me, you know what? No, I can't get in politics. And I mean, like, these people are so aware, they are so in tune, they are so understanding about what's going on, but yet these are my age range and they don't want to join. So, you know, my question next, we obviously go, well, why? But you know what the problem is? The current government has a lot of young people afraid. So ask yourself, when you don't see them voting, you think it's only because they just genuinely don't want to? And even if it's only that they genuinely don't want to, in some cases, there's a root cause for that. Once again, some people are afraid. They're afraid that if they speak out towards this government, they're going to get penalized, ostracized, victimized. So young people that want to listen, I said I would come on and would say, I tell you the truth, right? This is just one of the areas that plague our young people. They do not feel as though, not all of them, but majority do not feel as though that politics has a place for them based off of the things that they've seen displayed by this government. So they may be frustrated, but that's where we come in, because we have to be the voice of the young people.
True.
We have to come and represent you. We are here representing you with the support of Ralph Thorne. And if you don't me, come to some of the events, and you will see that Ralph is a person who will come and communicate with you. I've seen it many times. If you've been to Savvy on the Bay, trust me, you would see you. Those of you who he showed you would know. But this is what I'm saying. Here is a place for you. I don't want you to get to feel fear, to feel scared. And I always want to remember this as well. When we fear them, that is when they continue to lead. Come support the Democratic Labour Party, and we will support you.
I can tell you something, you know. I'll take some ways you will get. I can tell you that. I mean, this might seem small, right? And I can say Ralph in this context, right? Because
Yeah.
that's how
we,
you know, that's how touching it is for me.
First name basis.
Simple, yes.
First name
but
basis, yeah.
you can message or call Ralph at any time. And once he is available, he will answer you. As a young person, it shocked me at first. I said, you know, the leader of the opposition, you know, and I can message. He will always return your message or your call. You know, that is how close he is, that's how personable he is. He's a human being. He is a human being, and he loves young people.
Oh yeah.
He loves young people. No doubt about that. You know, he loves young people. He encourages young people. He's not the older person to say, you know, you can't do it. He is the person to say, you can do it, and you know what? You will do it as a young person. You are ready. You're ready to go. You know, that is what I admire, and that is what inspires me about our leader.
Encouragement.
Of course. You know, very positive.
Correct.
Might be simple to some.
Means a lot. It's
Means
very,
a lot.
very important.
Means a lot. Means a lot to me.
So Darry, with that type of mentorship that we just expressed in our leader, was that something that you find value in as a young person? If you find someone in your life who's maybe a Ralph or maybe anybody else in your constituency, you would value something like that type of mentorship?
Of course, and not just in my community, but in life. I had it in my career, in my IT career. When I first started overseas straight out of college, I had somebody that took me on. I didn't know much, and he taught me almost everything I know. And I grew from there. And it was just because of my interest in the job. And that goes for anything in life. If there's somebody that takes interest in your interests and that can help you, you are very likely to succeed. You are very likely to follow. And I just want to say, while I'm not aligned with any party, for example, Ramon is my friend, but I support policy, regardless of who it is. So if Ramon's policy and the DLP's policy are not aligned with my needs, I will look elsewhere.
Understood.
That Ramon.
And I know Ramon's heart, and I know that he's a serviceman, right?
Yeah.
I know how he operates. So I can only hope that he has great policy in his vision. But for me, it's policy first, because I understand now, especially at my age, that policy is going to affect the rest of my life. So it will determine how I am able to build financially, my career, and everything going forward.
You might need to say that again. No, you might need to say that again.
I understand.
Because some young people,
And that's it.
they don't really
I
get-
don't think they understand that politics affects them in that way. It's about your financial stability, your career, your life, whether you want a wife and kids or husband and kids and a house of your own. All the little things that go on, that change, that we don't pay attention to, are the things that affect whether we can or can't afford these things in the future. When we look at sales tax on property and stuff like that has gone up so much. Houses that I see now for the prices now compared to a few years ago, I'm like, this is crazy. How can I afford to move out?
True.
And it's things like that that we have to be cognizant of and thinking about when we vote. And we should vote. Because not voting is still voting.
Correct.
If you don't vote, you are not exercising your power
You're right.
to participate in your future. And young people need to understand that.
And I also subscribe to the view that, yes, there's nothing wrong with aligning yourself with a party, but remember that before you align yourself to a party, you are a Barbadian first.
Correct.
You get me? And you should think about that in regards to how the country is going, rather than just supporting a party blindly. Like you said, look at the policy, because the policy is not only going to affect you, it's going to affect your children and your children's children. And rather than engage in this blind cultish fellowship of a party, you need to ask yourself, is this good for Barbados? Is this good for my children? Do you get me? Is divesting from the transport board, how is that going to affect my children and my grandchildren? When you take up the retirement age, how is that going to affect my children and my grandchildren? You know, when you don't invest properly into healthcare, how is that going to affect my children and my grandchildren? And I always tell people, look, you can vote your conscience, you can vote however you want to vote, but at the end of the day, honesty and good policy should always win out. If once there is integrity in the policy and integrity in the person that's bringing the policy, then you should put that above any form of loyalty to any party. And that's all I really want to say to my young people. And gentlemen, to tell the truth, right, I am so impressed with this conversation that we've had tonight. You know, and we winding down. We winding down. So I'm going to give you at least, you know, your 2 minutes to at least put in your final thoughts or any final message to the young people. I'm going to leave Dari. No, I'm going to leave Dari for last. You come in here, you don't do no work. So
Come on.
come here, you don't do no work. So I am a fair person. Dari worked hard tonight. The mom worked extra hard tonight trying to win Dari vote too. You understand? So,
Well, I got to wish for one too when it comes to the people say Andrew and even Dari especially, because you know brought a valid point to the table, right? No, you need to, as a representative from the people for the people, right? You should make sure that your policies, if not to come from the people, they run parallel to solve the problem. And if not just run parallel, at least meet perpendicular at some point to make sure that it aligns with their values. And for me, the more the people that I come across that show interest in politics, they keep me on the right path. They show me that it's not just about what comes to mind for you, but it's about what these people also are thinking of. We need to have these people at the forefront of our minds at every instance, every time. And that's just something that I'm really proud of. I went out tonight, but this evening actually, I came in from tonight. And the people that I met, they all are willing to show me that these are issues that they're facing. They're all answering the same question. What is your vision for the constituency? And my vision is the same everywhere you go. I need to see what you need to see. I need to know what you're looking at. I don't want to do something just to say I've done it. I want to make sure that when I craft policy, I want to make sure that when I go and I create an initiative, that it works the way it's supposed to. It impacts you the way it's supposed to. And that's what we're doing for our young people here at the Democratic Party. That's what I'm doing for you as your candidate for St. Michael Northeast. So that is it. We need to make sure that we are at the people, we are for the people, and we are of the people, and we need to make sure that our goals are consistent with their needs. And once we continue to do that, I believe we will retake this government, and I believe that we will charge this country in a different direction. You know, we need to make sure that our people can travel safely and get home with the lowest of cost.
they agreed there.
Transportation right now will not be the same. Whenever this policy, this divestment is fully legitimized, it will not be the same. I know people that are crying out already. Earlier tonight, I was trying to refrain from saying, but I guess everything's supposed to come up tonight. I was talking to a transport word driver. So I was getting a deeper understanding of how this really is going to impact them, and I want to talk about a different time. But this is just one of the areas that people are waking up to. What kind of administration of government would remove, would change for the worse, the way that people could get home, people could get to work, people could get to town.
And school.
And school.
Most importantly, school.
You know, and church. Then you start to think about the children, most importantly. If I'm hearing that they're going to have a school bus that's native to each school, right? That's what I'm hearing. However, that's not the only time that children need transportation.
True that.
So I'm saying, like, there's so much I could say on just this one topic. You know, what's going to happen to the van drivers? What's going to happen to the taxi man? What's going to happen to the drivers themselves? Because when this gets privatized, this system will no longer be the same.
True that.
What's going to happen to these drivers? Are they going to be able to get the buses that hold for the top buses, or are they going to be able to finance and repair some of these buses? I mean, like, some of these electric buses off the road for who knows how long. And that is with the support of a government.
True
That's
that.
with the backing, the financial aid or backing of a government.
True that.
What about the person who living paycheck to paycheck by driving bus? How can that person, if they even given the opportunity to have a bus for themselves, how can they maintain it? I just think that almost, and I use this word very strongly, almost every piece of legislation that jumps out into Parliament recently needs to be revisited. Needs to be aligning its goals with the people. Tell me one day, because one body here and you're telling me how exactly the transport board being divested, being privatized, no longer being public, is going to help the people of Barbados.
I know who it will help. I can tell you that.
Talk your talk, Ramon.
Of course. And we need to ask ourselves this question. We need to look at all the ministries and let's talk about this in a serious way. Which of the ministries, of any of the ministries, are currently flourishing? Are currently doing well?
None.
There are any ministries that are doing well. This has been 7 years of tribulation underneath the Barbados Labour Party led government. It could be the 7 years that the Bible talked about.
Oh, the 7 years of famine.
Tribulation is concerned.
7 years of famine.
Could be.
7 years of famine.
Could be. I would bet all the money I have. Right? It has been a disaster.
Yeah.
Ain't done yet.
Change is needed. Ramon Goodman is the face of change in the St. Andrew constituency.
I endorse that.
Here.
I endorse that.
Ramon Goodman is the face of change in the St. Andrew constituency. He is the light at the end of the tunnel. He is here to serve. That's all he knows, Barbadians. That's all he knows, the people of the St. Andrew constituency, to serve the people. He will listen. He will do that simple L word that the members of the Barbados Labour Party seem not to be able to do. As they consult their consultants, and that is the only people they consult.
Oh, wow.
You know, many times I would have gone through the constituency, road works, Dari, my good friend Dari, road works. And you know, one of the topics, one of the things that came up, you know, they never listened to me. I am on the ground, I live in this part of the constituency. And the consultants would have consulted whoever they needed to consult and would have gone ahead and paved the road. Road flood out. You know, the roads weren't constructed properly. If they would have listened again to the ordinary Barbadian, the Democrat Labour Party, we listen to the ordinary Barbadian. We don't just consult consultants. We don't consult consultants. We consult the ordinary Barbadian that it is in the constituency each and every day.
People first.
People first.
People are
first.
consultants. Yeah.
So I will say to you, the good people of the St. Andrew constituency, vote for change. Vote for Ramon Goodman in the St. Andrew constituency. Your servant. Use me. Use me. Use me. If being used, you're what? Useless. And unfortunately, that could be said. Anyways.
Yeah, we keep it brief.
Of course.
Dari, any final words you want to give? Thank you for coming here tonight.
Yeah, those were some strong words, but I'll keep mine short. I'm just gonna say, I want the young people of Barbados and Barbados on a whole to do away with the idea that change is not possible and that things will remain the same just because that's how they always were.
True that.
Because I know people very often say, but we can't change that. That's what it's always been, and it stops them from taking action. But be encouraged by what we see here, And hopefully all the candidates that are canvassing are doing what they have to do now. But most importantly, come out and hold them accountable. That is what I would encourage you to do.
Beautiful.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to say, I'm just going to repeat what I said earlier, and this is a message to the young people. Do not be afraid to support who you want to support. If you want to join a party whose color isn't red, that is your choice. Don't let anybody pressure you into thinking that only one party has a monopoly on your intelligence or your professionalism. If you don't subscribe to their views, you don't subscribe to their views. When you come here, we will embrace you and we will empower you. And the leader, Ralph Thorne, will do as such. He will put you on a platform so that you can be seen and you can be heard and your issues will be dealt with. The young people need to be listened to. And we in the Democratic Labour Party, we are listening. We have been listening and we will continue to listen. To everybody in the water diaspora, good night. And as I will always say, I love you. Yell is the code.
Seats and moving.
Oh na na, yeah na na na, yes, yeah. In the streets it's getting hot, and the youth them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, and they'll do anything to fill that gap. Lord, in the streets it's getting hot, and the youth them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, but they'll do anything to fill that gap. As generation comes and grows, you got to make preparation while the youth them grow. It's what you reap is what you sow. The youth them are the light and the future, so when that's them you know. If education is the key, now tell me why the big heads are make it so expensive for we. Give them the key or set them free. In the streets it's getting hot, and the youths them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, where they do anything to fill that gap. Boy, in the streets it's getting hot, and the youths them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, where they do anything to fill that gap. Oh na na na. To find a better way, cause when me looking at Babylon, me see a beautiful play. I saw the Gideon say, yeah. Our nation come together, know that King Selassie has the truth and the light and the way. Teach the people, lead them in the right way. Cause in the streets it's getting hot, and the youths them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, they'll do anything to fill that gap. Boy, in the streets it's getting hot, and the youth them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, they'll do anything to fill that gap. Yeah. You got to show the people there's still a brighter way. Yeah. I know for sure the sun will come out today. Yeah. Vanities and illusion will have to fade away, yeah. And all the wicked deeds are done, I know you got to pay, yeah. Cause in the streets it's getting hot, and the youth them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, they'll do anything to fill that gap, yeah. In the streets it's getting hot, and the youth them I get so cold. Searching for food for the pot, they'll do anything to fill that gap. As generation comes and go, you got to make preparation while the youth them a grow. It's what you reap is what you sow. The youth them are the light and the future, let's send us them you know. If education is the key, now tell me why the big guys they make it so expensive for we. And give them the key or set them free.